Hi guys, it's Mrs. Baker. I am so excited to see you. So this video is going to be for 2nd and 3rd grade. And I'm going to be making videos every so often for the online learners to see what you've missed in guidance class. Now, if you're an in-person learner, you can watch too and kind of review what we talked about. So this is what we talked about this week. Mr. Lamb and I came in to 2nd and 3rd grade and we talked about a few things. So if you're a new student, Mr. Lamb and myself, Mrs. Baker, we come into your class every week and we teach different lessons about a variety of things. We talk about feelings, we talk about problem solving, we talk about how to handle your anger, we talk about the 8 never nevers, which are things we never ever do. We do a lot of different fun things, and for those of you who have been here for a while, you might notice Puppy and Snail are in the background. They're trying to get in on my video, aren't they? So anyways, so that's what we usually talk about in guidance. And we do a couple different things, Mr. Lamb and I. We come into classes and we teach, and we also bring students into our office. Now, kids come into our office for a lot of reasons. Sometimes they come in to tell us something they're really happy about. Maybe they scored a goal at soccer, or maybe they got a new puppy. And sometimes kids come into our office to talk about other things, like things that make them sad or things that make them mad, or they have a problem that they really can't figure out how to solve. So we would help them do that. And one of the things we talked about is when you come into our office, the things that you tell us are private. Now, private, what does that mean? Well, that means we are not going to tell anybody, are we? So if you come into my office and you tell me that you're really, really upset because you can't figure out how to do your math homework, well, I'm not going to go tell everybody that you can't figure out how to do your math homework, am I? Because then you wouldn't trust me to tell me anything else. So I would help you figure out a way to solve that problem. Now, there's a couple different situations where if you came into my office or Mr. Lamb's office and you told us something, we would have to tell. We would have to get you some help. And here are those situations. Number one, if you come into our office and you tell us that someone is hurting you. Let's say you come into my office and you tell me every single day one of the kids in your class is pulling your hair at recess. Well, that's not okay, is it? We can't have you having your hair pulled, and we have to help the other student to learn that that's not okay. So we would have to tell someone. We would have to get you some help because we can never let you get hurt. The second is if you tell us that you're going to hurt someone else. Let's say you come into my office and you say, when I get home from school today, I'm going to trip my baby sister. Well, we can't have you tripping your baby sister, can we? That's not okay. We need to help you to figure out better ways to be around your baby sister, and we need to make sure baby sister doesn't get hurt. So that's the second instance where we would have to tell someone. The third one is if you tell one of us that you're going to hurt yourself. Let's say that you tell me, Mrs. Baker, when I go home today, I'm going to the park and I'm going to throw myself off the top of the slide just to see what happens. Well, I can't let you do that, can I? Because you're going to hurt yourself. So I would have to make sure that I told someone so that that didn't happen. There is a fourth circumstance, and that's if you tell me that you can tell. You might hear the church bells in the background. The church bells are going off. So if you come into my office and you say, Mrs. Baker, I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out how to do my spelling words. And I say, okay, is it okay if we tell your teacher and she can help you figure out a different way to do your spelling words? Now, if you say, yeah, that would be okay, then I will go to your teacher and you and I and your teacher will problem solve and figure out a way to help you with your spelling. But if you say, no, I really want to try to work it out myself, then I won't tell, will I? Because then you would want that to be private. So those are the circumstances where Mr. Lamb or I would have to tell someone, but anything else would be private, wouldn't it? And that's what you do when you come into our office. Now, some kids have asked about yoga, and yes, we're going to do some yoga this year, so maybe I'll make some videos of yoga for you online learners to do yoga. So another thing we talked about in guidance is we talked about how we've all had lots of big feelings since our school shut down in March, haven't we? I know I felt scared, and I felt worried, and I felt sad, and I felt mad, and I'm sure you've had some big feelings too. And maybe your grown-ups have had some big feelings, or your brothers and sisters. So what we did today, well, not today, but when we had guidance, was we read a really fun book. It's one of my favorites, and this is what the book is called. It's called Wilma Jean and the Worry Machine. Wilma Jean had a lot of worries. She worried about everything. She worried about school, she worried about her friends, she worried about missing the bus, she worried about what was going to be for lunch, she worried about homework, she worried about everything. And Wilma Jean learned a way to control her worries, and that's what we talked about. And I'm going to show you how you can control your worries. Now, there are some worries you can control, and some worries you can't control. Like, let's say you're worried about your math test. Well, what can you do to help yourself be ready for your math test? You can practice, practice, practice. You can ask your teacher for help. You can ask your grown-up for help. You can write lots of math problems and try to solve them. You can do lots of things to get ready for your math test. So that's a worry you can control, right? You can do something about that. But what about a worry you can't control? Like the weather, right? We can't control the weather. Maybe you're scared of storms, but we can't control the weather, can we? There are some situations that we can do things about and we can't. Like when we talk about the virus, right? There are things we can do to protect ourselves. We can wash our hands. We can wear our masks. We can stay 6 feet apart when possible. And there are some things we can't do, right? We can't control what's going on in the world. We can't control whether we have to wear the masks or not. We just have to, don't we? So there's different things we can do when we're worried that we can and we can't control. So what we did in class, we did a little chart, and you can make one at home. It's real easy. You just make 2 boxes, and we wrote worries I can control and worries I can't control. Then we drew a picture, or we wrote a phrase of something we could control and something we couldn't control. I thought it was a really great activity to learn there are some things we can do to control our worries, and there are some things we can't. When we can't control a worry, what Wilma Jean did, and I'm going to try to find the picture and show you, Wilma Jean imagined a worry hat. It's just a pretend hat. And when she had a big worry of something she couldn't control, she imagined taking that worry out of her brain and putting it in her pretend worry hat, right? And putting it away for a while. Then, if she needs to come back to her worry, she could take her worry out of her hat and put it back into her brain. So that is what we did in guidance this week. Next week, we're going to take a little bit of a practice quiz, and we're going to do that in class, so there might not be a video for 2nd grade. For 3rd grade, we're going to start talking more about big feelings and about how to focus in class and how to learn. You guys might remember skills for listening. We talked a little bit about it last year. So I will make videos every so often and tell you what you missed. I miss you. I love you. I hope we see you soon. Bye.